gentlemen, Raven fans, Oriole fans, thank you very much for joining us this week for the Ravery. Get that light right there. All right. For the Ravery Sports Podcast for fans like me, like and subscribe to all of our social media content. Thank you very much for joining us here today. If you're watching us live, you're watching us on our YouTube page, our Twitch channel, and our X page. I'm going to say it right. I'm going to stop saying Twitter at some point. So we got all that is there. Like and subscribe to all of our social media content this week as well. Thank you, all of you that joined me on Monday for my Genesis Notary Services live stream. So thank you for all of you that went ahead and checked that out. So I was actually surprised how many people we had. Pleasantly surprised. Thank you for that. Ravorisports.company.site is the website. You can get Ravens jerseys like this, Ravens hats like this. So we'll be happy to get that stuff for you on the website, Ravorisports.company.site. If you don't see it on the website, I'm still fumbling around here. If you don't see it on the website, it's ravorisports@gmail.com. So definitely you can check all of that out there as well. And also, too, it has been announced. Well, one more thing. Legal Shield. So definitely as well. Click some more. Gonna have some discounts for that. So if you want to go ahead and get that for you, we're gonna go ahead and ship that out for you. We're gonna get some discounts. So definitely check our social media. Harris Legal Shield. You can put that in at Facebook. So definitely like that. Or definitely check us out on LinkedIn, Harris Legal Shield. Go ahead and put it in on LinkedIn where you may see some discounts coming out for that as well pretty soon as well. Also, we've announced it this week, October 28th, our Maryland men's basketball preview. So definitely our Maryland men's basketball preview is coming up on the 28th of October. So that is the Sunday before the Terps start the following Monday. So definitely check that out. We'll go ahead and get that for you. All right. So a lot to get to this week. A lot to go ahead and take care of here as well. So we'll get to it a lot. Obviously, the beginner of the NFL season. The first game. Hallelujah. So let's get to it. The Ravens and the Chefs. So the NFL is opening its season on Thursday night. The Ravens will be opening up their season at Thursday night. This is about as good a matchup as you can possibly get for a season opening game. The Ravens 13-4 regular season last year, best record in the AFC against the team that actually won the Super Bowl last year, the Chefs, Kansas City Chiefs. 8 o'clock. I've noticed always on the schedule, and I think everybody's doing it anyway. Now it's NBC Peacock. Everywhere I see the schedule, it's always the streaming service to go along with it as well. So definitely that's how I'm checking out most of my games these days. So definitely just pointing that out. We probably all know the team and time because this one, as they say, needs no introduction almost. Lamar Jackson, the league MVP, the reigning MVP of the league last year. That was his passing there. 36, almost 3,700 yards passing, 24 TDs to 7 interceptions. I thought Lamar, that to me last season was easily his best season as a passer. Not just as the dual threat. I mean, we all know that. But just as a passer, as a complete player, I thought that was outstanding as well last year. What Lamar was able to do and pull off last year. So I thought Lamar was terrific last season. We're going to see Derrick Henry for the first time as a Baltimore Raven, at least. So definitely this is one of the best running backs, I think, maybe a future Hall of Famer that the Ravens have had. This is the best big back they've certainly had, in my opinion, since Jamal Lewis. That's what you're going to see. If you like Jamal, this is what you're going to see here. Guys, somebody's going to run over people. But he doesn't need to be introduced to us. He was the one that knocked us out in the playoff game a couple years ago during Lamar's second season. So Henry's been terrific. For a guy that's falling off, that's better than anything we've had in quite a while. 280 carries, 1167, 12 TDs. Outstanding. Let's continue to see the ascension of Zay Flowers. Is Zay Flowers going to be the number one luggage carrier in terms of the wide receiving corps? Odell Beckham is gone. Just him and Bateman now as the starters. I do think you are going to see more with Bateman gone, more two tight end. I do think they're going to have Isaiah likely a lot this year, more. So we'll see that. But definitely Zay Flowers is definitely absolutely we'd like to see him get into that stratosphere. I do have to change the name because he actually changed his name to Mwandi, I think Matabuke, right? So this was just legal just a few days ago here this week. He's going to be announcing himself. That doesn't change the production on the field. 14 sacks, outstanding season. I am not as worried about the outside pass rush as other fans are. It's a bit of a concern because I think you have pass rush. I think you have Justin Matabuke. I'm sorry, I'm getting his name. Have Matabuke 14 sacks. I think that'll spur the whole line. Also to Travis Jones. Also to with his Travis Jones. Also to now in the starting lineup. So keep that in mind. That kind of went under the radar a bit. No longer Broderick Washington at the other end spot next to Michael Pierce. It'll be Travis Jones starting going forward. So Jones had an outstanding camp. Matabuke has been outstanding the whole time. Patrick Mahomes, the current Super Bowl winning quarterback, 4,813 last year, 2017, 14 interceptions. Interception total a little bit high last year. And I thought he had a lot of drops as well. I think the receivers probably the worst group he's had last year. They have upgraded a bit when we talk about receivers, but Mahomes down the stretch was Pat Mahomes. I think this is the Michael Jordan factor. This is the guy, QB1 in the entire NFL, face of the NFL. No question about it here. Isaiah Pacheco, use a word moxie. With Isaiah Pacheco. I think Pacheco, I don't think he's a great back, but I gotta say, I like his effort. He runs as hard as Derrick Henry. He just doesn't have Henry's physical ability. I think this is why he's had injuries, because he runs so hard. Kind of reminds me of Marion Barber. Used to play for the Dallas Cowboys years ago. Kind of a similar path there. Kind of would run hard, but not to have the great size. I think he's not even as big as that, maybe, but the size, but the hard running, the effort running, and things like that. And I think you see a lot of that with Pacheco. Good compliment there in Kansas City. Rashee Rice is not suspended. Got in some trouble apparently in the offseason with speeding, et cetera, et cetera. Trial hasn't happened yet, so he hasn't been suspended yet. But definitely he is their ascending wide receiver. They have done over the receiving core. Marquise Brown, former Raven, is not going to play in this game with the injury. They are going to have Juju Smith-Schuster. I don't know how much he's going to play in the game. And they drafted Xavier Worthy. So not happy with the receivers last year. They did go out and do a lot and do ahead to improve that production. I believe this is still going to be their main guy, Rashee Rice. Chris Jones, I think, is probably the best D-tackle one in the league, too. I think the whole defense runs around him. I think he collapses the pocket, great pass rush. You have to put two guys on him the whole time. Man, let me tell you, this is the scariest thing for me, having Daniel Falele go against Chris Jones. That doesn't make me feel like Chris Jones. I gotta think they'd be double teaming him a lot as well. Interesting to see Nola Jarius Sneed on defense. Also, Chiefs defense was very good last year. Nola Jarius Sneed moves on to Tennessee. I think a lot of people don't agree. I think they kept a better corner. Trent McDuffie, I think he's maybe the best corner in the AFC, not named Hot Sauce Gardner. I think Trent McDuffie is terrific. So, X Factor. What is the X in this game? So let's keep it simple here in the first game. We could go get real cute here, but the X factor is the unveiling of Derrick Henry. seeing him as a Baltimore Raven for the first time on the field. No more hoping, wishing. Let's see how teams defend the RPO with Lamar and Derrick Henry. Good luck with that. I don't see how it is. They have, I've seen in camp, been throwing the ball a lot to him. I don't think that's his strength. He can catch the ball out of the backfield, but we've seen that quite a bit. Let's see how much we see it in the regular season. They are going to, I would think, they're going to say this, run the ball out. Can they stick with that game plan and do that? Also, too, Lamar has led the team in rushing for the last several years. How much volume carries is he going to get? I'm assuming right out the gate he will. I think in the first game, I don't think it'll be an issue. But going forward, be interesting to see how many carries he actually gets. We know the talent he has. I mean, there's no question about it. And the other X, the guy waiting for the first round draft pick of the Ravens, Nate Wiggins. He's healthy. He did go out the second game. I think it was the second preseason game with injury. Wiggins is going to start in this one as well. No question is going to play in this one. Don't know where he's going to play. I'm not sure if he's going to be your number one nickel corner. I would think be a little bit of a lesser role, maybe a dime package guy in the beginning. We'll see how that goes with Nate Wiggins. But interesting to see. Look, very, very, very good camp. I thought Nate Wiggins looked tremendous. So absolutely. Ravens should win this game 24-20 in this one. I'm going to lecture the fans a little bit. I am seeing too many of you guys, too many of y'all talking about let's wait till January. This doesn't matter. No, that's not the way. No. Let me tell you something. In life, in my life, and I teach my children and friends around me, I understand you want to win in January. This isn't the factor of January. This isn't a January game, but today matters, right? Today matters. Not just what happens in January. Today matters. You have a chance to send a message in front of the whole league. This could be the most watched game of the regular season. Today matters. Go in and send a message. I don't like, even what I'm hearing from the Ravens camp, they've been way too quiet for me. I think that's intentional. I think internally, because externally they're saying this is not a revenge game. They're purposely not doing bulletin board material, et cetera, et cetera. They're trying to somehow go under the radar or whatever. I don't buy that for a second. I don't think that is the case. So I really think they're just trying to lull the opponent to sleep. But they should want this game more. You lost it. You lost it with the number one seed. You should be hungry going on the field. You should be going out, like LT said, crazed dogs on the field and win the first game. Let's go. Ravens 24-20 in this one. All right. So Ravens 24-20 over the Chiefs. I think Ravens should win this game. They should win this game. I think the Chiefs, I would say, the advantage the Chiefs do have, unlike the Ravens. I'm not saying this was the bad decision or a bad move of any kind by the Ravens, that they did not play any of their players in the preseason, almost none. So let's help them on the injury report. That's how the Chiefs actually locked Marquise. Mahomes did play, to do a couple snaps where the Ravens didn't do any of their starters. So it's gonna not be overly precise early. It gets a little sloppy early. You might see a slow first half. Teams not looking great here at the beginning. So keep that in mind. All right. Let's go to the blow your eardrums. Had it up loud too. Gotcha. All right, the Big Five, our first one of the season, our larger NFL content. So this is what we do. We talk about the 5 biggest games on the schedule that are not Raven games as well. So we are going to be doing that again this season. And I gotta tell you, unlike last year too, again, the first week schedule is great. Obviously, the biggest game on the schedule, not just because we're Raven fans, is the Chefs and the Ravens. But obviously, this one here, they got a good slate of games on week one, like compared to last year and the last couple of years, frankly. So this was good. So good slate of games from Brazil. The Packers and the Philadelphia Eagles, two of the favorites in the in two of the favorites in the NFC going forward. The Packers, after getting to the divisional round last year, after the very surprising upset of Dallas, they're actually going on to the playoff. They actually got a shot at the playoffs. One of the good young teams. Jordan Love was an excellent reclamation project. And the talent of the Eagles. Eagles had the best record most of the way last year. They were like 10-1, kind of faded down the stretch. So let's see if the Eagles can kind of bounce back here. I think talent-wise, I think the Eagles, I think these two teams are fairly close. The Eagles have more definitely on the offensive side. I think you have a Jalen Hurts there. You have the two outstanding receivers, A.J. Brown. I think A.J. Brown's underrated. Devontae Smith is terrific. You go get Saquon Barkley. That's a good thing. Your offensive line is still really good, even though you lost Jason Kelce to retirement. Defensively, I think there are some issues. But I think they kind of improved last year. I think they did some of the right things. They got rid of some of those guys. They're going to start Jordan Davis, Jalen Carter on defense, a tackle. I think it's can the Packers run the ball, though? That's the thing. That'll be interesting to see how good Josh Jacobs does running the football against this Jalen Carter and Jordan Davis. They're going to need to run the football in this as well. Can also, too, he take advantage of that secondary, and what kind of secondary do the Eagles have now? So they went ahead last year. Look, Slay and Marbury did not get it done. They went in the draft and did some things. I'm going to take the Packers in their first game, even though I like the Eagles over the course of the season. I just think they have this stuff together. The Packers kind of going under the radar, where I think the Eagles have a lot of noise going on in the first game. So I'm going to take the Pack in this one. The Jags and the Dolphins. So this is going to be pinball going on here. A lot of offense in this one. The Jaguars, I think, have Trevor Lawrence, I think, is an outstanding quarterback. Just got an extension in the offseason. Travis Etienne there as well for them. They're going to score a lot of points. I think there's a lot of reasons to like the Jags. I think they're just inconsistent. Kind of like the New Orleans Saints for so many years. The roster's good, et cetera, but, you know, they're not putting the knife in. They kind of have these stretches where they're just not following through. The Dolphins, I think we know what they are. I think they have a very good young coach, Mike McDaniel. I think they have I think they have excellent offensive potential. They have the two great receivers, Jalen Waddle and Tyreek Hill, to go along with Tua Tagovailoa. I don't know how many points. I think they should score points because they're so vital through the air. Because I think they're so strong through the air. Defensively, I'm not as confident. I think they're going to struggle on defense. I like the secondary guys, Holland and Jalen Ramsey. I think are really good. But I don't love their pass rush. I think they give up some points. And I'm going to take the Jags in this game. It's always tricky taking the Jags because historically the last couple of years have been so inconsistent, 9-8, 2 straight years. But I'm going to take the Jags here in this one. We're going to have the GOAT on the mic for the first game in this one. Tom Brady I'm talking about up in the booth for this one. And on the field, we're going to get an outstanding two playoff teams from last year. The Browns and the Cowboys. These are two teams. I have no idea what we're going to get here from either of these two during the course of the year. I would say there is diminish on the Cowboys a little bit. Their offense should be solid. They have Prescott there, who's a solid quarterback. Not great, but a solid quarterback. They did get the extension done with CeeDee Lamb. I keep sighing because I mean their run game really just scares me. It really does. Their offensive line didn't look good. They look decent enough in camp, but they're playing a lot of young guys. I think it's a little bit of a pause. And Zeke Elliott definitely gives me pause. They did, I believe, sign Dalvin Cook as well. I don't know if that's going to get it. The Browns, I think we know this. We know more, I think, about the Browns. Their defense was sensational and is. Myles Garrett, you talk about their Denzel Ward. Their defense, I think, was number one in the NFL last year. I think their run game, they're going to run the football. We know that. They don't have Nick Chubb yet. He's still out with the injury. They're going to run the ball as well. I think I like the Browns here better than the Cowboys. I think the Brownies, are at least I know what I'm getting. The Cowboys, again, you don't know what you're getting from the Cowboys, and I don't think they're as proficient as they were last year as well. They're not going to have Bland in this game either. That's going to hurt them. Darren Bland to go against Amari Cooper. That's going to matter. Rams and the Lions. Rams, I think, are – boy, this is going to be outstanding stuff here from the Lions and the Rams. I thought this was the one of the playoff games in the playoff round I was looking most forward to, especially wild card weekend before we had Ravens. I thought it was an outstanding game. I think this is going to be outstanding as well. So this is a great selection for the first Sunday night game. I think the Lions are the best team in the NFC, if not in the NFL. If I power rank them, I'd have to put them at one. Really like the Lions. Offensive line, outstanding. Goff, I think, was outstanding last year. Good, really good. I think the two running backs are really good. They have a good group of receivers. So offensively is set. They have a real identity. They like to run the ball as well. Defensively, their front seven is terrific. Hutchinson, I think, is a Pro Bowler as well. Secondary, not great. I think we'll see how much improve. That's the thing I want to look at. The Rams, we know they're going to score. That's it. Sean McVay's team is going to score. I think I kind of have the same vibe, though. I kind of have the same vibe. They should be motivated because they lost. I do like the Lions, though, in this game. So I think the Lions are just a better football team than the Rams. Just a step up in class. Not a lot because the Rams are really good, but I think I'm going to take the Lions in this one. And this one full well, the first Monday night game. Are we going to get a whole season of Aaron Rodgers for the Jets? How long have we been waiting for Aaron Rodgers to show up here? So they got a Monday night game. Again, this is where he cost his whole season. A couple plays, done for the year. Worst nightmare for the Jets. They're finally going to get a 40-year-old Aaron Rodgers at quarterback against the Niners. I think this is not a great matchup for the Niners. I say this for the Jets, rather. Jets I like a lot. I think they can win their division. I think they're really good. I don't think they need Aaron Rodgers to be Aaron Rodgers that we've seen, the MVP. I think they just need a solid Aaron Rodgers. And I think they're going to get it. They would have made the playoffs last year had they had any offense. Their defense is awesome. Defense is really good. I think Quentin Williams, I think, is one of the better tackles in the league. I think Hot Sauce Gardner, I think, is the best corner in the league. I think you talk about C.J. Mosley there. They're still having that issue with Hassan Riddick. Maybe I don't think that's going to get worked out before Monday, but there's a lot of talent here in New York. I mean, as far as on defense, defensively, they're very, very good. The Niners are going to be what they were. I do think this is probably their last season as a favorite. They're going to have cap issues after this year. There's going to be some guys letting go. They're losing a lot of their secondary guys, it looks like, in the offseason, or not necessarily already losing, but free agents. They did re-sign Trent Williams. They did re-sign Brandon Ayuk. So interesting to see. I don't think the Niners lose at home. I think they're going to be motivated to win this game. And I do think, again, like the Rams, the Lions, better football team. I don't think Rodgers will be great out of the gate. He hasn't really played in preseason. I think the Niners defense is a little bit too much. I think they're still intact there, where I think the 49ers win pretty decisively early. There you go. The Big Five. So the 5 biggest games on the schedule. All right, so definitely check all the games this week. I am really looking forward to a first slate of games. Also, too, we got a Ravens game Thursday, so I get to check it all. I get to check it all out all week. So outstanding stuff for that. Top 10. We've been doing our top 10 lists, and we're going to go ahead and finish it off. Our top 10 list right before the season. This is the last of the off-season stuff. Top 10 coaches in the NFL. So who is the top 10 coaches, head coaches, currently in the NFL? Now, head coaches, I'm not as big on head coaches in coaching in football. I think in all sports, really, it's more about the players. If you know, I don't take a lot of time talking about managers and all that stuff because I don't think it's as big of a deal as sometimes we make it out to be. I think football, it matters more, I think, than any other sport, certainly baseball or basketball at this level. But it does matter who the coaches are to a certain extent. I don't think coaches can coach their way out of bad teams too much. But who's good? Who's had success? Who's solid? Who is the best of the group? Let's look at the head coaches. Number 10, I'm going to put Mike McDaniel in number 10. He's an ascending offensive coach. I was super impressed with the job he's been doing the last couple of years with Tua Tagovailoa. Tagovailoa, he's managing to his strengths. He's getting the ball out quick, accurate. He's getting he's got the respect of his quarterback. He's getting the most from his quarterback. His quarterback and him trust. I think that's a lot of it. Offensively, I see a lot of good things. He finds running backs and gets good production out of them. His offenses are really good. Can he coach defense? That's the thing. Defensively, not as good, but they're winning. So it's worked. I think he needs some help on the defensive side. He's definitely one of these offensive guys, but I think he's in the top 10. I think the job he's done with Tua has been outstanding. Kevin Stefanski, a lot of Browns fans would say he's underrated because he was the coach of the league last year under very trying circumstances as well. Look, had to pull our boy Joe Flacco out of retirement to go ahead and actually get him through the playoff game, get him to the playoffs. So good stuff from him last year. Stefanski's defenses are always really good. That's a fact. His team has an identity. It is smash mouth Northeast football where they go ahead and they hit you in the mouth. The defenses are really good. His teams are good. They have an identity. So there's no question about whether Kevin Stefanski, if he is a good coach, he's absolutely, I think, in the top 10. His teams absolutely have an identity. His teams have won. I think the Browns are kind of seen in a bad light unnecessarily, too. I think that's part of why, like, his perception isn't as high as it should be, I think. They're kind of seen in a bad light. The Browns haven't been terrible. You look at the win-loss record. They're just in a very tough division. You know, hard to move with the Ravens, Steelers, et cetera, Bengals, et cetera. So I think he's done a really good job. He's a good coach. Number 9. I would tell you what, Matt LaFleur has been in Green Bay. Wasn't his first season last year. Talking about the job, I was impressed with Mike McDaniel. I was even more impressed with Matt LaFleur last year, what he did with Jordan Love. That I did not see that coming. He really impressed me. They look like they could keep the engine running without Aaron Rodgers. How good is Matt LaFleur? Look, that was a hard decision to make, to say we're going to go with a guy that, even though they drafted in the first round, who's been sitting on the bench, a lot of people said it wouldn't work, and it worked. He got it to work. He has a good young football team. Good young, they look like Packers. And I mean as a compliment. That looks like the Packers last year, what we saw all the years. And he looks like he's going to keep the engine running. Very good offensive coach. Got a good young receivers. I think it definitely fits his personality. A real smart young football team. Matt LaFleur I think number 8 as well. Number 7, some dissent, but Sean McDermott. Sean McDermott's won too many games for me not to put him on the head best list as well. Defensive guy. His team fits the team fits his personality. They're a hard-nosed defensive team, and he is a good fit there. Josh Allen has his total respect of his coach. You never hear any problems with him and Josh Allen. He kind of lets Josh Allen do his thing, even though he's defense. His defense has always been consistently good. My concern with the Bills this year is the defense isn't quite as good. But Sean McDermott has always had good defense. Everybody talks about Josh Allen, but the defenses that they had have been really good in Buffalo. So I think that's one of the things. His side of the ball is always squared away. So that's why I really like Sean McDermott. And again, everybody forgets again, kind of like Stefanski, before he got there, how bad the Bills were. I mean, they were really just kind of floundering for a long time without Sean McDermott. So Sean McDermott has really turned them around as well in his tenure there. So I have Sean McDermott, number 7. I have Jim Harbaugh, number 6. I think like some people I'm hearing like they're worried about, well, he hasn't been in the league in so long, or he hasn't been in the league so long. It's been a while. I don't think Harbaugh is going to miss a beat. I think he's better than ever, honestly. I thought the job he did at Michigan was terrific. Terrific. The biggest thing with him that he's done, and I could see it already listening in the press conference, he's mellowed out a bit. Even though he had a lot of success with the 49ers, very intense, didn't get along with people, didn't have great relationships. At Michigan, it was kind of that way too at the beginning. He's kind of mellowed out. I see now he gets along better with his players, everything, more like John Harbaugh. Right? He was a more intense version. The intensity is still there, but his team already, even on draft day, you saw the identity of the Chargers change. You see him where they passed up the wide receiver for the lineman. He's going to build it in his image. I think hard-nosed coaching. He's you would almost think he's a defensive guy, but the thing I really like about him is he really understands offense. He really understands quarterbacking. He wants to install that similar type of ideology with the offensive mindset. Outstanding. I think Jim Harbaugh, massive coaching upgrade for the Chargers. Mike Tomlin. It almost seems a little low for Tomlin. He's now the dean, right? He's been at one team longer than any other coach in the league. Been there now. I think this is year 17 for Tomlin as well. Just signed an extension, so he's not going anywhere. Tomlin, I think, is people call him a cheerleader like it's a bad thing. It isn't. Tomlin is an intense guy, very intelligent, great at the podium, great motivating his team, great leader of men. That's so important with a Mike Tomlin. His defenses are always top shelf. He's evolved a bit over the years. I think it doesn't look like the Tony Dungy defense like when he first got there as well, but he adjusts to the players that are there. So I think Mike Tomlin, is a great coach. Players like him. And I think some people find something wrong with that too. He's intense. He's not heavy X&O. He's not the Bill Walsh type. Like some people always find fault with guys like that. But I think Tomlin, the numbers speak for itself. Never had a losing season in all those 17 years. That's good coaching. John Harbaugh is ahead of him a little bit. Now, let's get it out the way. AFC Championship game was not his best hour. That's for sure. He definitely has trouble with Andy Reid. So we know that. So let's get that out the way. I think Harbaugh is an outstanding coach in a lot of ways. Two guys, he kind of is a cross between Bill Belichick. The Bill Belichick, he is secretive. He doesn't like to divulge much. He doesn't like to he kind of has that attitude. He's quick to drop players at times, has a bit of a doghouse, and he's like Parcells in the other way, Bill Parcells. Similarity to Parcells, some players love him. Some players really like playing for him. The thing I always say about John Harbaugh too, better than any coach on this list in the league. All 53 guys on that team, all the way from Lamar Jackson all the way down to, you could say, Bo Braid, undrafted free agent, he knows about them. There's nobody in that building he doesn't know. He doesn't know. He knows exactly what his guys are capable of, and his special teams are always outstanding. Outstanding. So that's one thing. He does all the little things to win a game. Not great on offense. That's the only not. I think he's relying on Monken and the quarterback and all that stuff from offense. But everything else is an A+. John Harbaugh. Kyle Shanahan. Oh. I'm sorry. Kyle Shanahan, number 3. Let's talk about Kyle Shanahan. Kyle Shanahan, I think definitely reminds me of his dad when he was coaching. I don't think it's innovative, only because it's so similar to Mike Shanahan's offense. I paid a lot of attention to Mike Shanahan's offense, but Kyle Shanahan is outstanding as well. Look, it doesn't matter what's so impressive. It doesn't even matter almost who the quarterback is, but he's had success with all these quarterbacks. It's not a secret. He couldn't make everything work there, but Trey Lance. So hasn't spent a lot of money. He's got the weaponry around him. The offenses is they know it down pat. They know it down pat. His teams, his offenses are always so impeccable. Defensive side of the ball has been good too. So I think also as well. I don't think he's an offensive coach. I think he understands the whole team though. I don't think he's as much of just an offensive guy as gets credit for. He understands defense. He understands defense. His defenses are always really good. Sean McVay. Number 2. I don't know how good of a GM he is. That's the only kind of knock I have on Sean McVay. But Sean McVay's offenses, again, like Shanahan, are, I think, top shelf regardless. I mean, it doesn't seem to matter who the quarterback is, whether it's Jared Goff, now he's got Matt Stafford, whether he gets all these running backs. You don't see Sean McVay's offense look like crap. It just doesn't, because his offenses are always on always score a lot of points. They do very well. If he can stay away from injuries. The only knock on him I really have is he can't beat San Francisco, and I think he traded away too many picks for Stafford. I think that hurt his team. I think that was the reason why they've had leaner years and they haven't been able to continue to win. They gave away so many picks and they couldn't keep winning. But that's it. Everything else is on point. I think Sean McVay was outstanding, but Andy Reid is entering GOAT territory. I think this is the greatest maybe offensive coach of all time. What he's done, it's wow. He now at the end he's got the best quarterback he's ever had. Let's see. You could almost guarantee this would be 7 straight AFC Championship games for Andy Reid in Kansas City. There you go. So there you go. Those are the top 10 coaches in the NFL. So we will go ahead and go over that as we go to the next topic. Maryland football. Not much of a game on Saturday. To my surprise, this was more decisive than I thought it would be. Terps were really good from start to finish. You see it not close, 50-7. Terps actually all over the Jim Moore's UConn Huskies there as well. So not much here. Won't spend too much time analyzing the game because it wasn't too much of a contest. Nick Evers was well scouted. Watching the game, I think they pretty much I saw a lot of clips of him. He ran a lot of naked bootleg, a lot of moving out of the pocket, and then the Terps had that scouted. They were all over it. He was not very good. 6 for 17, 1 interception. Joseph Fergano went ahead and finished up 8 for 16, 1 TD, 1 interception, no pass game, none. They didn't really throw the ball at all and get much really all day. I saw Cam Edwards 5 carries for 32 yards. They were so far behind. I don't know if that mattered or he could make an impact. Kyler Bell was probably the best offensive guy for them on the field. 5 receptions, 141, 1 TD. I thought he was decent. I did. I thought Skylar Bell, played well in this one. Probably he was the only one that gave the Terps trouble. I thought they were, I guess, swinging double teams to him. So I think they have a decent receiver there. Defensively, Damon Gordon, 7 tackles, and Teron Banks, 1 sack. Maryland was scoring whenever they want. I mean, they had the best stat sheet out of all of them. Billy Edwards looked good throwing the football. That was impressive. This guy's not supposed to be a passer. Tell you what, he looked good in the Music City Bowl. He looked good in this one. Now, these are not last the bowl game. They didn't care. This game, UConn, not a very good team. We'll see more this week against a Big Ten opponent, not a very good team in the Big Ten, but a Big Ten opponent. See if he can keep this up. But Billy Edwards clearly over MJ Morris, the number 1 starter. Roman Hemby had a touchdown in this one, 14 carries for 66 yards. Solid job there. Ty Felton was terrific as well. Both receivers, Caden Prather and him kind of jockeying for that number 1 receiver. Felton was huge in his first game, good with both quarterbacks. There was in MJ Morris did play a bit. Cameron Edge did play a bit. I don't know if it was just rotation. It was so decisive. They might as well say, let's go ahead and play the game. Hippolyte, I thought, was there as well. I think he had like 10 tackles. So he was probably the leading tackle. He had 1 interception along with Glendon Miller. They had 2 interceptions total. I think this is kind of the defense again, unlike the offense, looked about the same as last year. Defense looked about the same. Secondary looked really strong. Linebackers, I thought, are really strong. They don't get a lot of push, little risk at first, but not bad at all for a first outing. Obviously, winning 50-7 for the Terps. So not going to know it yet. This weekend, we're going to go ahead. They're going to go play the Michigan State Spartans next week. So definitely as well. Michigan did not look good in their first game. They got by Florida Atlantic. So the Terps look much, much better in their first game. So we will see how that goes if they go ahead and play Michigan Atlantic this week. But I think this is probably a team Maryland should beat. Michigan State, not very good. They're at the bottom of the Big Ten. Next week, we're going to go over the 10 best Maryland football players of all time. Who's number 1 on that list of the greatest Terps football players that ever played? Okay, so let's do this. We're going to do an Orioles report. There's a lot to go over there. And let's go ahead and recap August as well. The month of August. Relax, Oriole fans. Relax. It's not over. Orioles we're in second place of the month. They're in first place now. They are hitting the long ball. So that's the one area where they've been able to maintain. Bullpen issues, we know all those things, but the Orioles have been maintaining at the top of the league. We are also here, I think it'll be 2 weeks. We're going to go over all the teams in contention. Orioles aren't the only ones with problems right now. Braves kind of been scuffling. Yankees definitely have issues. They may be replacing the closer. Red Sox been fading as well. I mean, it's really a jumble around. So despite all of our problems, it's not just us. 78 and 59 was the end of August. Was the record. They won 4 out of the last 10. At the time, they were second in the AL East. They moved to first. So I only put that till the end of August because we're just only recapping that month as well. All right, Orioles. Leading candidate for the AL Rookie of the Year, I think, is Colton Cowser. He's got 20-plus home runs. He can hit 25. Pencil him in the next few years, I think, in left field. I don't think there's any question about it. Or center. It is possible with that. But we're definitely going to see that going forward. Colton Cowser, many more years of him. Like to see him bring his average up. But, man, he's just really hitting those long balls. Definitely a power hitter for the future for the Orioles. Adley. This is as bad as I've seen him at the plate. I think he had a 3-for-4 last night against the White Sox, But outside of that, it's been a scuffle for him lately in August. I thought August again, he wasn't very good. Hopefully he can pick it up down the stretch. He seems to be trying to do too much at the plate. That's kind of what I'm seeing. He's so used to doing so well, but I think he needs to just go with some pitches. Seems to be trying to do too much, hit home runs at the plate. Gunnar stats okay, just feels less impactful. Basically, he's been better than Adley. The power hasn't been there, I think, like it was, but it just feels like it's less impactful. But I think he's been fairly solid for the month as well. It doesn't feel like it though. Doesn't feel like it's been other guys and not Gunnar. Santander, to quote Marlo Stanfield, the price of the brick is going up. Absolutely, 39 home runs at the end of August for Anthony Santander. Definitely going to hit the 40 home run category. I don't know if that's going to be enough to keep him in town. There's going to be interest in Anthony Santander in the offseason. It's going to be very expensive. He's not going to 20 million plus is in his future for sure. Eloy Jimenez, fantastic. His 2 strikes as a hitter. Outstanding at the plate. I got no problem with Eloy Jimenez. I kind of didn't understand the fit, but with all the injuries, they've actually needed him more than they thought. And he has been pretty good at the plate. Slow runner. Good Lord. That's the man. He super slow. I mean, not goodness. But other than that, but he can hit. There's no question about it. Ryan O'Hearn moving the fences back hurt him. I think that's true with him and Malley as well. I don't think he's been as good this season, Ryan O'Hearn, but he's been solid. But they've been, again, moving him in and out. Brandon Hyde drives him up a wall with the lefty-righty. I think this is his example of a guy where it worked. But again, I like to see him play more, playing different positions. Haven't had Mountie because he's injured, so I'd like to see that as well. Jackson Holiday showing flashes. Better this time around as we expected. Not great consistently, though, but flashes. You are seeing it. You're seeing enough to be encouraged as well. Still a work in progress in the field. Better than Kobe Mayo, but definitely a work in progress at second base. Hasn't played a lot of second base. Cedric playing less and less. He actually hasn't been bad this last week. But, yeah, you're seeing less and less guys moving him more out there. It looks like he's playing every other day. I don't think he's playing like 5 games or 6 games. I don't think he's had that in a while. Urias played most of the month, now on IL. Big improvement as an everyday player. I think him as a bench player, that didn't work. Him as an everyday player, much, much better. Burns was not good, I think, in August. There's no other way to slice it. His 3 starts were terrible. I thought his last start was better, much better, but it's still like to see better from him, but still have some work to do there. Dean Kramer, man, he got hit again on the shoulder, so another possible injury there. But Kramer actually wasn't that bad, I thought. Probably his best month so far was good. Where would we be without Albert Suarez? He's been outstanding down the stretch here. Here's a guy, career minor leaguer, 34 years old. And look at that, 3.14, probably best ERA, best month on the rotation. Cade Povich won his last start as well. So this is through the end of August. But we'll see with Povich as well. Cole Irvin is back. My goodness. Like, after all that, he's back in the rotation. He had a couple spot starts and done what they asked. So, again, interested to see. Good for him back in the bigs. Cade Povich. Sir Anthony Dominguez. No question about who's in the 9th inning now. No question about it. Sir Anthony Dominguez is your 9th inning guy. They're going to use him, I think, going into the playoffs down the stretch. Yadier Cano is probably looked much better to me last month. I thought his placement was better. He looked much more like the guy we saw in 2023 last month. Craig Kimbrell, I thought was very good. Has been terrible. I mean, a lot of people want him DFA'd. I don't know. I'm not for or against it at this point. I'm not for it in the sense of I'm not against it in the sense of he hasn't been good. I'm not for it in the sense of who do you replace him with? I don't know. I mean, is anybody out there that's going to do better than Craig Kimbrell? Perez, I think, was good in August as well. I think he's been really consistent lately, which they definitely need. Matt Bowman, I think, not many starts here, but not many relief appearances, but he's been really good so far. Used in high leverage. High seems to trust him here so far. Keegan Aiken, yeah, he's on the team. Like they keep setting him down. But Aiken's been decent, for them for a while. Greg Soto, not good, frankly, lately. A little better lately, again, but not good. Bullpen the last week or so has been coming back around a bit. And Bert Smith, after a couple of outings, I thought was good last week as well. I'm not sure that Yuri was right with Smith in Vegas. I think that's right, but we'll check that out. So there you go. August, roughed for the Orioles. Orioles not good in August. But I would say they're still winning the division. That matters. So I don't think you're going to win 100 games, but certainly 90-plus wins. Also, too, schedule down the stretch, one of the easiest in the MLB. Not going to play a lot of tough games. Playing the Rockies and the White Sox, let's read right into that there. Orioles report. These two teams are awful. The fact that they lost one game to the Rockies was a surprise. I didn't even see the result of the game tonight, but I'm not worried about it. Let me look at the score even now as well, because I wanted to get this done. But, the White Sox, I can't get over how bad. This is not even competition. How do you lose this many games? That's crazy. They've lost. They're ahead tonight, it looks like in the fifth, but they've lost 109 games. That's that's wild. So Orioles down 4-1 right now. In that, again, I don't even know what to say about the White Sox, but should be winning these games. Shouldn't be losing to the White Sox. We'll see how that goes. Cedric has been hot. I think he's been better lately. Ryan O'Hearn, I think, has picked himself up. Greg Soto, looked at it, last 7 games, not bad. So a good week for Soto, even though he's really struggled overall with the Orioles. Dean Kramer has been good, but he definitely had the injury where he got hurt, hit him right on the shoulder, looked nasty. So definitely that puts him in the knot. I think he's going to go on the shelf as well. Sir Anthony Dominguez, I thought, has been good as well for them late in the ninth inning. So good for him. Jackson Holiday, I think, has not been good, rather, in the ninth inning. Has not been good here lately. And Jackson Holiday, I got to put him in a not carry. I try not to be too hard on rookies, but he just looks like he's over swinging. Relax with his power, his ability. But we are seeing flashes come through, whereas before there wasn't anything happening. Jorge, utility man, Jorge Machado is done for the season. This happened right after I started recording last week. That the speedster will have a season-ending season UCL repair, non-throwing shoulder. Tommy John, that's more referred to in the non-throwing shoulder. So he's not going to play at all anymore this year. Reinstated Zach Eflin from the 15-day L. The DFA Forrest Wall selected the contract of David Benatos from AAA. Recall Kobe Mayo from AAA. Nick Vespi was sent down. All right. Eflin has been outstanding again. He was outstanding in his first start back. Good to get him back. Grayson may be coming back soon as well. Forrest Wall up and down. Benatos, same, not a lot there. Kobe Mayo, I think it helped that they're spanning the rosters and getting him. Nick Vespi, I don't blame. I think Nick Vespi, again, he's been kind of treated like Kyle Stowers. It seems like no matter what he does, they go ahead, they send him down regardless of what happens. My boy is gone. Gene Segura, loved him in the playoffs a couple years ago. Announced that he's been released from his minor league contract, and left-hander was outrighted to Norfolk there as well. Again, Vespi, man, they've just been killing him. We're getting to that. Announced they selected money contract Nick Matan and Dennis catcher Baltimore has been designated for assignment. So in this case, I'm pretty sure he's going to take the assignment to Norfolk. Nick Maton is up again. I haven't seen Maton in the lineup yet at all. Monday, the Blue Jays announced Monday that they've claimed Dylan Tate, former Oriole, out for waivers and optioned him to Triple-A. So here's a guy a few years ago was right in the midst of things as one of the leaders in the rotation on the team, and now they're optioning him to Triple-A. Off the mound, I saw it earlier today, bullpen shoulder session for Camden Yards for Grayson Rodriguez. Take it a little longer. I don't think they're in any rush. Have them in the playoffs, ready to go. I think that is obviously the goal there. Felix Bautista was also throwing off the mound today, but again, asked again, reiterated, we're no Felix Bautista until spring training next year on that. But it was still good to see him out there throwing. Tampa Bay Rays and the Red Sox are coming up this week. Rays have been struggling. Definitely not going to the playoffs this year. It's been a miracle they've been able to do what they do. Red Sox are above Tampa in the division, but they've been scuffling as well. So interesting to see how that goes. This is a broken record, isn't it? Santander, Player of the Week. Again, maybe the Orioles Player of the Year. He's stacking a lot of these together. So Anthony Santander is Orioles Player of the Week. All right. Hallelujah. A lot to get to. So thank you very much for joining us for the Ravorisports Sports Podcast. This is our regular podcast. It will be up all week long on YouTube and all of our social media platforms. We'll see you tomorrow, though. Ravens pregame, 7:30 Eastern time. We will go ahead and get ready for the NFL season. Thank you very much for joining us, guys, and you have a great rest of your day.